Hi everyone, my name is Lara Promnitz-Hayashi and I'm an associate professor at a lovely little university way out in the city called Keiai University. Today I would like to tell you a little about how my first semester went down. And thankfully, no, it did not go down in a ball of flames like I anticipated. 2020 was to be a year full of excitement and triumphs. We had the hype of the Tokyo Olympics and the joy of not having to attempt to commute during said Olympics. There was the excitement of students starting uni for the first time, and in my case, starting a new job. The year started out great. I got to present at a lovely little conference in Singapore in February, and then went back to Australia for a visit, came back to Japan, and had my curriculum for the whole year done and dusted, and I'd moved into my new office. All ready to go, you know? I was so ready for April. We all know that the start of a new academic year can be exciting for teachers. We get to meet fresh-faced first-year university students that are bubbling with excitement about their newfound freedoms and endless opportunities of fun to be had. We see empty vessels that we are eager to fill with motivation for learning English. Boy, was I ready. But then that all changed when COVID decided to make a dramatic appearance, and so much of this year's excitement burst like a huge needle in a carnival balloon. All of the teachers' and students' excitement quickly turned to nervousness. I would even say despair for some teachers that I know. Suddenly my email inbox, or my work email, was inundated with millions of work emails full of panic, and everyone was scrambling to figure out how best to deliver the semester online. Countless Zoom meetings entailed, where everyone basically went in circles, as many of the older professors were full-on technophobes. Numerous how-to manuals started circulating, which I actually ignored, as they're in Japanese, so they were not much use to me. I'm a person that is extremely organized, so in order to hold on to what little sanity was still there, I did my own research and decided to go ahead and use Zoom and Moodle for my classes. I had experience in both and thought it was better the devil you know. I set up all my recurring Zoom meetings for my classes and then made my own super easy manuals for my students. Those were basically screenshots and arrows, like super easy. I uploaded them to each of my classes on our uni server. I outlined everything that would be happening and how to access Zoom meetings and also our Moodle pages prior to the first day of class. I knew that many students would be nervous, so I set up practice Zoom meetings for each class the week before classes started. Some of the students attended and we got to chat informally, and they could ask questions that they had and talk about any concerns that they had. It was actually quite nice. I only had to make minor tweaks to most of my classes, as I could adapt them to do in Breakout Rooms and Moodle. I only overhauled one subject, as I didn't want the students to buy the textbook, as I wasn't sure if many of them were actually able to work or not, and the bookstore at my uni was not open and wouldn't send out the textbooks. So there was only the one subject that was a work in progress for the whole semester, and it will continue to be a work in progress in semester 2 as we're going to be online again. Right, so let's break down the challenges and the not so positive things I faced in this semester, or first semester in the classroom. The first probably 3 or 4 weeks, I felt more like those online chat support people than a teacher. My phone was blowing up all hours of the day and night with questions from panicked students. I had messages through the university LMS, emails, and Line. It was almost impossible in the beginning to decipher who was who and which class they were talking about, not to mention troubleshooting. I was fielding questions which were not even about my class, which was hard because remember, I just started this position in April, and as I'm not on campus, I don't have a great knowledge or much knowledge actually of how the university actually runs. I didn't even know who to refer them to. We're expected to take attendance for classes, But that was actually easy for me because I had students make usernames that were their student number first, then their name in Romaji. So then in the participants window, their usernames were put in numerical order, which matched my class list. So it was so easy just to go down and check attendance. I noticed that excuses last semester for absences or missed deadlines suddenly became varied. So it went from in the past where the common excuse was always my grandmother died to now it was weak or no internet, couldn't get into Zoom, NTT was doing cable work, which actually NTT seemed to be super busy this past semester. My PC is broken and I don't have Word. I didn't have solutions to some of the problems, but I asked them to log into Zoom on their smartphones, if possible without video, if they couldn't get in on their computer. I also learned to navigate my way around the university website, which is in Japanese, which was a challenge in itself for me. But I found that where students could get Microsoft Office 365 for free, that actually messed up their excuse for not doing homework and assignments. Score. Some students didn't know how to copy and paste a URL or find the homework information. Early in the semester, I used share screen, but by around mid-semester, I had students share their screen and I walked them through it so they could actually do it themselves. I had the trouble of students uploading a photo of their assignment in Word, but it was a photo of the assignment open on their computer. So they took a photo of the computer screen rather than uploading the document into Moodle. Or another common one was students were uploading a blank document because they simply didn't save it. So these resulted in me sending endless emails to individuals. One big challenge was in regard to videos in Zoom. In some classes, none of the students turned on their videos. So I was looking at my own ugly mug day in and day out. Even my camera was begging for summer vacation by July so it could turn off too. The biggest challenge, and it was huge, was the marking. The marking felt as high as Mount Fuji or even Mount Everest at times. And every time I thought I was reaching the summit, another avalanche hit me. I was exhausted. So then what did we achieve by the end of the semester? Well, I became a pro at Zoom and Moodle, well, more confident at least. I encouraged students to be more autonomous and try things themselves first and only ask me if they were stuck. I had to figure out ways to reach outcomes without adding more web platforms for students. Students were already overwhelmed because every teacher used a different platform and they were just overwhelmed with which class was using which platform, where was work due, when was it due, how was I to submit it. So that meant that I just kept to Moodle and Zoom. So then for presentations, I had them just record in Zoom and upload that file, much easier. I used Google Slides for presentations as group members could work collaboratively and message each other through comments in Google Slides. That also helped them build friendships. It was quite useful. Reaching a whole new level of nagging in the sense of tons of reminders about what is due, when it is due, and where it's due. I screenshot every class just to show and remind students so they had no excuses. And another thing that I think everyone achieved this semester was massive collaboration and camaraderie. It was nice to pop into breakout rooms and just see someone sharing their screen to help a classmate. It felt like something so positive. So then my favorite things from the first semester were, number one, everyone fixing their hair when I asked them to turn on their videos for attendance. That was one compulsory thing I had. Only for attendance, everyone had to turn on their video just for a short time when I called their name to make sure that they were physically there. But then I always told them they looked great because everyone was doing this. It was quite funny. Number two, I'm gonna miss the Zoom bombing. Not the kind that makes the headlines, but I will miss the family members that were having a sticky beak and not realizing that they were actually in the camera range. I'm going to miss my student's cat that joined our class loudly at 4 p.m. every Monday afternoon. I'm going to miss the crows joining in as one student did the class outside on his balcony. There'll be Takubin bringing a delivery, I'm sure, in second semester too. And we'll all know about it as students forgot to mute their mics. So what did I take away from the first semester online? The most important thing is to put myself in the student's shoes and troubleshoot potential challenges before they occur and have a workaround ready. The other is have plan B, have plan C, have a plan D. Chances are high we need it. I also feel proud that students are becoming more computer literate much faster, and I often praise them for their accomplishments because praise goes a long way, no matter how small the praise seems. Breakout rooms are a game changer for group work and changing partners. It takes me seconds to set up compared to the classroom where if I said make groups of 4, it's like primary school all over again. And it's like I asked them to invent a flying car or something just as challenging, because the amount of time it takes to coordinate making groups of 4 was a nightmare in the classroom at times. I'm not going to take things for granted. We are so lucky in our situation that we are able to keep our jobs and still teach online regardless of the obstacles. Also, the smallest victories feel so huge, from full attendance, more communication, less fear of asking questions, thank yous and waves goodbye as they escape Zoom. Yes, I use the word escape, whether it's face-to-face or Zoom when it's the end of class. Students yelling, let's go, when I tell them to open the breakout room. And just an overall feeling of more confidence, especially with technology and adapting materials to suit the new normal. So I've had so many challenges this semester. I've done my best to overcome them to the best of my ability and my students' ability. I know semester 2 is going to bring new challenges, but at least now I know how to troubleshoot a number of those potential challenges, especially if class members change and their previous teacher used a different platform and things like that. I know there are going to be challenges, but I'm not as nervous this semester. And especially because I'm going to lessen the amount of work that needs to be submitted to get Mount Fuji down to a size of a hill. So this is just my very brief overview of how my first semester went online in this new normal. I hope everyone else's semesters went well, and good luck for semester 2. And it's now my turn to escape Zoom. Thank you for listening. I would love to hear any comments below. Thank you.